Is work from home over? Are they forcing us back into the office? Is tech work from home no longer going to be a thing? Is this all just a scheme? Let's talk about it. I was reading this article from Forbes talking all about remote work. I have the article here. I was reading this article, and then another friend of mine, her company is getting back into the office, and there's just lots of work from home and tech conversation happening. I wanted just to chat with you guys about it. So according to this Forbes article, as of 2023, 12.7% of people work remotely, while 28.2% work hybrid. And I believe this is a stat of all kinds of workers, not obviously tech workers. So you've got your grocers, your teachers, your lawyers, all that kind of thing. So only 12% of that. So I'd be curious to see what the tech stat is. I don't think there's one in this article, but there is so much talk now of mandating staff to go back into the office, like big companies, Google, Amazon, Meta, Apple, I think all mandated staff to be back in the office 3 days a week. There's kind of two schools of thought where it's like mandating people back in the office full-time or some kind of hybrid model, or you're just still working remote, doing your own thing. Luckily, I am in the team of I work remote. I do go into the office because I want to 1 day a week, but we are a hybrid model. It's honestly by team, because there are teams like sales and customer support and marketing that do have to be in a certain amount of days. I am just on the design team, which is the best team to be on. And our C-suite, he's like, you guys do what you do. I'm very appreciative of that. It really depends on where you work. And this is my advice for job seekers, people just getting out of boot camp. If remote work is what you want completely, it's still possible. I think there's this narrative of like back to work, nobody's being remote anymore. COVID is over, get your butt back into the chair. And there is a lot of that going around, but you also have to think about, is that the kind of place that I want to be in? Do I want some more flexibility? Quick pros and cons. So let's start with the cons. Some negatives of working from home. No, just kidding. Kidding. It can be isolating if you are a certain type of person. If you are an extremely extrovert person, then working from home can be challenging if it's just you and you're solely by yourself 5 days a week. I feel like I'm an ambivert. I'm kind of in the middle. So my 1 day a week in the office, perfect social interaction. If you're somebody that really thrives on interaction with colleagues, you like the rhythm and routine of going to an office, then that is something to be aware of, and just making sure that you're good in the mental space to be doing that, because you are accountable for yourself when you're at home. Another con, I'd say, the blurred boundaries. When there's not a clear separation of home and work, it's very easy to blur the boundaries. And next thing you know, you are, let me just send this Slack message at 5:30, or let me just sign on really quick Friday at 8, or Saturday morning, let me just finish this design, because your computer is like here with you. It's work goes where you go. And honestly, I think you have to self-regulate. There's not a good answer for that. I know that's a lot of people's biggest problem. And I think a lot of these companies take advantage of that because they know, like, I'm probably going to get more productivity out of this person when they have work with them all the time, versus when you leave your computer at work or whatever you're doing, you can't take that with you. You really have to self-regulate, guys. I have gotten pretty good at this, mainly for my interior design job, because I hated that job. So once I left at 5, it was no longer my problem. But you really have to regulate yourself and say, I'm no longer working past this point, and then you just have to stop, because it's always going to be there the next day. You're just going to burn yourself out if you feel like you're on this hamster wheel, like I gotta work. Don't do that to yourself. Communication challenges. Sometimes it can be a hindrance when you are trying to link up with people. Then let's say if you were in the office and you could just walk over to their desk. Granted, wherever you work, it could be pretty dispersed where people are all over the map. So I think you have to be strategic about your day in terms of like, I need to communicate with certain people. I need to get certain answers done to get my work going. So again, it's really just about managing yourself to make sure that work from home is working for you. Okay. Major pro, let's get to the pros. Major pro, flexibility. Guys, the flexibility is unmatched. The fact that I can still get my work done, get 6 to 8 hours of work done a day while still doing my life is really, really important to me. Like last week, I took my dog Poe to a dental appointment, and that was at 12:15 on a Wednesday. I knew I could do that without like any kind of repercussion or having to leave the office and go pick him up. It just makes it's one less stress in your life. And it's one step into finding work-life balance. You know, work-life balance is kind of elusive in my mind, but if you work in a place that you're able to be flexible and you're not just hardwired into these certain boundaries, I think it just, it makes me feel better. Like it brings my anxiety levels down. I don't feel as stressed out. I know like, okay, I'm taking this 45-minute break to take my dog to a dentist, but nobody's going to slap my hand for doing that. You know, I'm in charge of myself, and that is just, I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back, guys. I don't have to stress about commuting. I commute from upstairs down here. You know what I mean? Like that is really nice. It's adds more time back into your day. I'm also way more productive at home because I've got my routine at home, and I know when I need to, you know, have some deep thinking time, some deep working time. There's just far less distractions. I like going to the office just so I can socialize. Like I plan to not get that much work done on the days that I go. So that's why I'm like, I just think there's so much more flexibility with work from home, and you can make it what you want it to be. That's why I'm like, I could not go back. I could not go back. Okay, so back to this Forbes article. Just wanted to give you guys some stats here. So by 2025, they suspect 32.6 million Americans will be working remotely to come 2025, which is about 22% of the workforce. This is saying come 2025, it's going to slowly move gradually into the direction of more remote work, putting us at 22% of the workforce. And interestingly enough, no surprise, I think, 98% of workers want to work remotely at least some of the time. It's just reflecting the growing need for autonomy, flexibility. Like I mentioned, that work-life balance. I think people are seeing the benefits when COVID forced everybody to work from home. I think people were seeing some of the benefits of that, and they want that replicated in their current life. It's interesting, like most companies hire remotely. In all the jobs that I applied for, guys, some were local to Denver. I never once stepped foot into an office. Everything was remotely. So it's like, let's use the things that are working and not work ourselves back just because we feel like we have to do something. We have to be in office. We're more productive in office. I would just let that go. I think some of these companies thinks it's like so luxurious and so glamorous. It's really not. Like, I have shown you guys my desk before. It's back there. I'll put in a clip. I work at a dining room table. Should I get a desk? Yes. It does not have to be this glamorous thing. It just really has to be a setup that works for you. And something else I want to say is set those boundaries for yourself. I have Slack and Outlook on my phone, but I have notifications turned off. I don't have the notifications turned on because when I'm in front of my computer, I will see emails and Slack messages come in. When I'm no longer working, why do I need to see that come in? So those are the kinds of things that I think can really help you set those boundaries. When your workday is over, it's over. I think my setup of mainly working from home, coming in one day a week when I feel like it, seems to be the right balance for me. And that's just what I hope for you guys, to find the right balance that works for you if you're lucky enough to even have the opportunity. So talking about work from home, if you want to see what I, as a UX designer, actually do when I'm working from home, check out this video here.